All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to look at a really fascinating case study. It's about how one person, facing a world of just overwhelming complexity, decided not just to cope with it, but to actually build something, to construct a personal system for order and meaning right from the ground up.
And really, it's a question that hits home for a lot of us, right? When the world feels like it's spinning apart, when all the signals are just noise and confusion, how do you create your own little island of stability? How do you build your own sense of order? Well, this explainer is about one possible blueprint for doing exactly that.
So to really get why someone would go to all this trouble, we have to rewind to a single day, January 13th, 2016. On the world stage, it was an absolutely chaotic day. You had terror attacks, rising geopolitical tensions, markets in a freefall, and according to the source material, on that very same day in Philadelphia, all that chaos from the outside world broke through someone's internal defenses. It triggered what they call a rupture event.
Now, this rupture didn't cause a total collapse. Instead, it created this fascinating state described as structured chaos. And what's so interesting about this is that it's not pure anarchy. It's a state in between, where the old rules are broken, but the new ones haven't been written yet. It's an identity under an incredible amount of load, and that instability makes one thing crystal clear. You've got to build a new system.
So where do you even begin to look for a blueprint to build a new system for your life? Well, in this case, the answer was found way back in ancient history. The source material here turns to the 5 major covenants in Judaism, not really as religious texts, but as this time-tested architectural plan for creating a stable, layered system of meaning.
And this isn't just some random list. It's a stack. Like in technology, each covenant builds on top of the last one, creating this complete architecture for an identity. It kicks off with a Noahic covenant, that's the universal foundation for everybody. Then it gets more and more specific, the Abrahamic for identity, the Mosaic for law and structure, the Davidic for leadership, and then finally, the Prophetic covenant, which is like the system's built-in repair kit.
And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. Just look at that last column, system function. It's incredible. The Noahic covenant is the foundation layer, your basic moral operating system. Abrahamic is the identity layer. Mosaic is the legal and ritual layer. Think of it as the code and the protocols. Davidic is governance, and prophetic, that's the all-important repair mechanism. It's a complete, self-stabilizing system.
Okay, so you've got this ancient, incredibly powerful blueprint. But how in the world do you translate that into something that actually works in the 21st century? Well, this case study shows us a direct translation, building what is, for all intents and purposes, a personal operating system, an OS for navigating your own life.
So layer 1 is all about grounding. The ancient Noahic covenant was a promise of stability for all of humanity after the chaos of the flood. The modern application here becomes what's called a territorial grounding. It's a personal commitment to a specific place, in this case, Seattle Bremerton, to act as an anchor against that modern feeling of being totally dislocated.
Next up, layer 2, identity. The Abrahamic covenant created a specific people with a specific mission. Here, that's translated into a personal identity covenant. You can think of it as a formal agreement between your everyday, lived self, named Shane in the source, and a kind of guiding archetype or ideal self, named Idris. The whole point is to merge these two into one coherent identity that knows what it's trying to do.
Then you need structure, right? The Mosaic covenant had 613 laws for an entire nation. The modern structure covenant is about building the rules for your personal OS. We're talking dashboards to monitor how you're doing, runtime loops for your daily habits, and even failure mode analysis for when things inevitably go wrong. It's literally the code that runs the whole system.
So where does the information for this OS come from? Well, it all starts in what's called the chaos layer. Think of this as like a digital sandbox or a private blog. It's a space for raw, messy, fragmented ideas and symbolic experiments, all the stuff that comes before it gets organized.
And then, in total contrast, you have the order layer. This is the final output. This is where all those raw ideas from the chaos layer get refined, structured, and turned into coherent, ethical frameworks. It's the process of taking broken pieces and building a solid foundation from them. So all of this work, translating ancient blueprints, defining who you are, sorting chaos into order, it all leads to one pretty remarkable document, a unified personal covenant. It is basically a personal constitution.
And the preamble to this document just says it all. I mean, listen to this. Its purpose isn't about control, it's about coherence, continuity, and adaptive stability. Wow.
It's a tool designed to take all the fragmented pieces of a life and bind them into a stable whole that can still grow and evolve.
So what does a personal constitution like this actually do? Well, it performs the exact same 5 functions we saw in that ancient blueprint. It establishes your grounding, it defines your identity, it provides structure, the laws of your system, it enables self-leadership, and, maybe most importantly, it ensures renewal, building in a way for the system to repair itself and evolve over time.
Now I know, this has been a really deep dive into one person's very specific, very personal system. So you might be wondering, why does any of this matter to the rest of us? It matters because it taps into this universal human need to find or maybe even create some kind of order in our own lives.
So let's be super clear. The point here is not to go out and copy this exact system. The specific names, the websites, that's all just the details of one person's journey. The real takeaway is the process, the act of consciously and deliberately building a personal system for meaning that actually works for you.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. This case study offers one blueprint, built from ancient history and modern tech. So, what's yours? What are the rituals, the rules, and the systems that you use to build your own order in a chaotic world?